Good afternoon, everybody. How's things? Gosh, Friday again, and it's the end of the month. What on earth's happening here? Yes, we do have one more tile before January ends, but goodness, how it's flown by. I can remember it was Christmas like last week, really. But yeah, it's flying by. Anyway, hope you're all safe and okay, nice and warm, cup of tea to hand, and all the rest of it. And today you can see my tiles are slightly different shape. I've used my tag tile. And then, of course, I've used the stencil that came with the original ones to actually create myself a little tag. That's it. So I've used this bit here on the top, and then I've turned it round, and I've used the little chamfers there to give me that. But having said that, you don't need it. You can use a regular tile if you want to, whatever you want to do with it. And you can see there that I've actually inked it up as well. I put the hole in because it might be nice to make a card out of this, so I have a bit of a tag on it, but again, it's entirely up to you, whatever you want to do. What do I have then with me? Okay, pen, pencil, tortillon. I've actually got my little ruler, or I've got a ruler. I don't know where mine is. It's got all my lovely drawings on. But I've got another one that I can start again. So, yeah, look, a lovely little bit there. I can tangle around that. But that's okay, because what I'm going to do, I want to sort of use the squares. And again, if you don't have one, it doesn't matter. You can still do it freehand. It's fine. So where are we going to start today? Okay, I'm going to start with my pencil. And what I want to do here is I want to put myself just a little bit of a line in. Not all the way down, just part way, because I just want to find where my middle is. So there you go. So I'm just going to put a little line there. Ever so lightly, so you can hardly see it in a second. You see? Just a very, very fine line. Just so I know where the middle is. Okay? So let's have a look there. I've got a mark there, and I'm going to come down to here. So I've got a little line that measures, let's have a look, 2, 3, about 3.5, 4 centimetres there. Okay. So, all right. Oh, hi, Heather. That's lovely. I'm so glad that things arrived. We do our best to get things out as quickly as we can, because you're just like me. You want everything now. Doesn't always happen that way. Okay, I want to create a little heart shape, but I want a nice sort of a fat heart. That makes sense. I don't want a thin, skinny one, nice fat one. So if you want to use a stencil for this, or if you want to draw it by hand, see, I'm just going to put myself a little line there so I know that I'm going up to that there. You see? Then I can come on round. And again, if you're going to use a regular tile for this, then you want to be doing it at the top edge, or top left or top right hand corner, something like that. You don't want it in the middle of your tile, because we're going to do some bits underneath it. Okay, there we go. So I've got a heart shape. Again, use a stencil, whatever works for you. And you know what, if you don't want a heart, you could just do an oval if you want it to. That's absolutely fine as well. All right, there we go. So there we go. It's part done there. So next little bit then, I want to do, there's my line, look. I'm coming down and around, and I want to create a curl in here. And again, I'm sticking with my pencil just so we can be comfortable with what we're doing. And we can come in afterwards and draw the rest in. Okay. Maybe Sue, maybe. Well, we've got a little bit of a time yet, so we can choose, can't we? We can choose. Going to put myself a mark there. It's about, yeah, not too bad. But what is it? I'm going to come round here and create that little loop. We know that one. We've done it quite a lot now. Going to keep it quite thin. And then when it comes to this end here, I'm going to aim for that mark there. You see how it's going to get wider as I work my way down. Okay. So let's have a look at doing this similar on this side. And again, it's not got to be the same. Remember, this is hand drawn. So in we go, all the way around until we get to about here. And then again, I'm going to aim it to that line there. It's a bit square. There you go. All right. So far, so good with that one then? Absolutely. I'm just going to take that little bit of a straight edge out there, because we do want a bit more of a curve. Okay, that's all right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come and bring my pen in, and I'm going to draw this inside bit in. So I've got my O3. Again, whatever pen works for you, but a fine liner is probably better. And I'm going to create this shape. So there we go, around. Now don't think you've got to do it all in one go. Okay, I'm going to stop that one there because I can come around a little bit, but I don't want to go around the bottom of it just yet. But this one, I can. All right, you see, around we go. Keeping it nice and narrow there. There you go. All right. So then along. And again, you've got time to change this if you want to. See there, look, I've changed that a little bit. And down to that point. There we are. So far, so good. So, next one. And again, let's bring that down and around. Don't try and do it all in one go. Don't stress over it. Take your time. All right. I'm going to bring that one in from here, see? Just going to stop it there just for now. And focus on this inside bit. Okay. And then around. I must say we're getting some really fabulous tile swaps in. Please, if you've not got that sorted yet, have a look at the video and come and join in. You don't have to be any particular standard, or there's no rule. There's a couple of little guidelines, but not really rules. So you need to go and have a look. It'll be fab, I'm sure. So, okay, see, I've still got this line in the middle here. I'm going to put myself a little curve that way and that way. It almost looks like a little beak now, doesn't it? It's not. Well, mine isn't. Little curves that way. And then let's put one in that way. Okay. So, again, following this sort of line here, let's put in that one there. And then coming from this one, I'm going to sort of split my space up now. But I can do it with a pen. I'm going to go there too, see? Let's just zoom out a bit so you can see where I'm heading here. So let's have one there. And then one at the top there. So I'm sort of trying to split it as best I can for now. One there, okay. And then let's have a look. It's one in here. So I'm not going to go too small with these. There. So probably, yeah, another one there. And similar sort of thing along here. So there we go. We've got those little lines like that. Next thing I want to do, across the bottom edge, again, let's go a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing here, is I'm going to create a curve around it, and then I can fill in the gaps on either side like that. So, working my way around. You see, what I don't do is I don't just draw the curve in at the top like that. I actually follow it up, so I'm sort of coming from about halfway and sort of creating the line as I go round, you see. Even if you've got to do the whole thing again, it just makes good practice, and I think it helps your curves because you've got a starter point and an end point. There you go. And of course, if you find that you need to, you can always come back in and neaten those edges up a little bit. And same on this one. So it's going to be quite a wide one. Well, that's okay. Same on this one. And the next. Oh, I see. I'm going to get two in there because they're quite small. Probably do the same there then. So let's work on this next line. So you see again, working from part way up, just joining in with that line. Up we go, and along and down. And fill in the little gap with it. You can come back and fill that gap in afterwards if you want to. Well, it's your choice. You can do that. Alright, next one. And in we go. And just sort of keep it going. Fill in the gaps in as you go. Or not, you can do it later. And again, you could actually, it'd be quite nice doing this in a different colour pen, maybe a navy or a deep red, you know, one of the Faber-Castell fine liners would look good. But it depends what you want to do with it. This might be your first one that you put in your little stash, so you, let's do two there. You've got a record of it and you might draw it again, who knows? Oh, see that one there? Look, this one's a bit more of a curve there. Alright, let's have a look at that. There we go, there's our first little bit. So if you're up for this next little bit, are you ready? Deep breath. Whew. Okay, I'm going to start with this large one here, because what I want to do is aura inside each one, like that. And of course, as they get smaller, it's going to get a little bit more tricky. But that's okay, because we've got this. It's just a line. You see? Inside each one. And just sort of follow the shape you've got. Don't try and do anything clever with it. Don't try and repeat the last one or try and make a mirror image. You're just focusing on that particular one shape at that time. Okay. Oh, ladies, if we end up with dots, you could always actually put a dot on where it joins, so it makes it look like you meant it. But I think, honestly, it's practice. And a little bit of a lighter touch, maybe. I think when I actually want to join two lines, I start above the surface of the paper and sort of hone in, almost like coming into land, and then I hit the ground running, so the ink starts to flow, not in a blob, but it doesn't have time to sort of sink. It has to literally follow me. So it's a little bit of a practice, I think. I get that too, so don't worry about it. Oh, look at that. There we go. All right, so the reason I left this is because I actually want to overlap something with it. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Oh, Carol, don't worry about it. Come on, we've got this. I mean, look at the, how can you not smile at that? It's just lovely, isn't it? What I want to do now, and again, if you haven't got this ruler, it really doesn't matter. You can do this freehand. It's fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make use of these little square shapes here. I'm not going to go too small. I'm going to sort of focus on, not this one and this one. But as I say, you don't have to use it. So don't panic if you haven't got it. So here we go. First one. There it is. Okay, and let's see why I actually went over the top of it there. And what we can do now is come back in with pen and draw this in that we don't need, because we don't need this bit anymore, but we do need this. So where's the best place to start from here? Some people prefer to go along and in, some people this way. So I'll do it both ways and see what happens. So as I'm coming round, I'm just going to join it and follow it round a little bit. And then this way, see, starting, touching, keep it going. Okay, let's practice. Let's do this side. Along and in. Oh, a bit wobbly, but that doesn't matter. Again, join it in. Keep it going. And then this way, sort of bringing it in. Touch. You see, it's a little bit thicker there, but that doesn't matter. If all else fails, we can go with the raw bubbles. So look at that. There you go. So starting in the centre there, let's come in with a little row of bubbles. Again, keep them small, but you just want them touching as you work your way around. You see, just sort of take your time with it. And just take, you know, a little bit of a moment on each one. If you go a little bit too quick with these. Charlotte, tag tiles are 12 by 7, or are they 12.5 by 7? I think something like that. They're definitely 7 on one way. There you go. When I get to the square, look, see I'm stopping. Right. And then along we go. Into this one. You see, if I just pull out a little bit. You see, they're quite small there. Yeah. Do you know what? I think if you're having a little bit of a down day, use the brightest tile you've got, or change the colour of the pen. And I don't know, maybe you've got an orange tile, go in with a red pen or something, and immediately it's going to lift your mood a little bit because of the brightness of the colour. I just want something that's going to make it pop. Maybe what about the bright yellow out the brights pack? That's a really nice one to do, and use a hot pink coloured pencil on it. It looks fabulous. There you go. Same with this one. So you just sort of work it round. There you go. All right. So that's the first bit. So I'm going to come in with my pen now. I'm going to start with a line. Now again, you could actually split it up if you want to into sections, but I think we've got this. And I think if we start one side first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some lines. See, let's go a little bit bigger. Not too far apart, but then as I work my way round, I'm going to create a sort of a more angled line. So you see that I'm actually moving my tile, and that helps me to keep these lines vertical. So I'm always drawing the same line, but because my tile's moving, you see it's starting to angle around the piece. Just like that, see? Oh, Lynn, what is it? Sorry, I couldn't hear you. I'm busy drawing. What do you want to know? Ask again. Okay. I'm just sort of working my way around. You see? Keep turning my tile. Oh, there you go. And along. I missed some loops on the left. Oh, yeah, so I did. Thank you. I will sort it in a minute. It's not the end of the world. It's fine. I'd have found it when I'd have got to shading. And I thought, oh, I've missed some loops. That's okay. Okay, now as I get sort of further around, I don't want to sort of come in and fill this bit here. So when I get to this point, I'm going to just create smaller lines. So it almost goes to nothing. Let's go a bit bigger there. Thank you, Lynn. You see? Just really small. And while I'm here, okay, we can put some of those little loops in that I've missed. There you go. All right, does that make you happier? Is that okay now? Oh, all right. Okay, so next little bit. Look at that. Oh, see how that line sort of works its way around. So here we go for the other side. Now, of course, when you get to the square here, you're not going to go inside it. You're going to go around it. Now, if you feel that you're going to, use a pencil and draw it in pencil first. But it's only a small square, so I think you've got this. Okay, and around we go. So just as before, I'm turning my tile. You see? And keeping that line vertical as best as I can. Right. All right, we'll panic over now. I've put my curls in. It's fine. Just keeping you all on your toes. Okay, so you see, just continuing line after line. Sort of following it round. I think you get used to putting it in place. And when we get to about here, just as before, I'm going to reduce the size of our lines very quickly to nothing. Okay, there you are. All right, so little loops in everywhere, lines in everywhere. I'm going to do, whilst I've got it here, I'm going to get rid of that line in that square. Okay, let's have a little look at that. All right, okay, so next little bit then, I'm going to come back to using my little ruler, not this one. I'm going to use this one and this one. This one definitely needs tangling on, doesn't it? I think my other one must be in my bag at the office. Of course, I'm home today because I'm doing a little bit of design work. There's another one, look, and I've used the same size. So let's put in another one here. Now, it doesn't really matter where you put these, if that makes sense. We just want a nice little cascade, you see. So I've got 3 of the same size there. So then I'm going to go down to the smaller one. And they've all got to sort of be going underneath each other. You see, that's a slightly smaller one. I know, Janet, you're normally the one that tells me, I must admit. I just thought Lynn was after knowing something that's going to perhaps be on the show next week. I think maybe she didn't get that far yet. Alright, let's put another one here. Now, I'm not going to do all of them all over the place. I want them to more or less cascade down here, see? So let's have another one there. And again, just angling it as I go around. There we go. I think actually I'm going to come in with that smaller one. You've got to get your pen in there. Getting a biro in's not going to happen. It's got to be a fine liner there because as they get smaller. There you go. All right. I know, Marie, but I just thought I'd, yeah. I'd upset Lynn because she's not asked. Glenys hasn't asked either. But I can't show you yet because it's not quite ready anyway. I'll show you next week. I might even post a picture later if it's done. Oh, Fiona, I think you have to go to my website. If they're not on the shop, I will sort that and I'll get some put on for you. So you can, you can draw these by hand. It's fine. You don't need to. So if you don't want to, okay. All right. So looking at my little squares now, I'm going to have the square so it's straight onto me. So see, I've got like a horizontal, vertical there, or close enough. And then again, if you would rather do a pencil, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself a little heart shape in there. And again, if you've got the essential stencils, you can draw these hearts with a stencil. You see, it's hard, don't matter. Let's do another one. So every time I draw one, I'm going to have the square. Now see this one, because it's going underneath, maybe I want to draw that first. There you go. Oh, see, that's a bit wide there. Because then I can just draw in the little bit that I want there. You see? Let's have a look. I'm going to go in with this one here. See again? I can imagine that one, but you don't have to. You can pencil it in. And one this way. Alright. And then this one here. So again, keeping it straight. Oh, Bernadette, don't worry about it. It's your diary. You can do what you like, even if you go in and you use pencil. I must admit, I've not done all my front page yet. Because I've been a little bit busy. And I'll get it done. I'm hoping actually to get my long arm quilting machine up and running this weekend, or at least part built. That would be nice. Maybe have Saturday morning off or something to get that done. But it depends on how much I can get finished today. Alright, let's have a little look at that. There we go. Alright. So let's have a look at these little hearts then. I think this first one here, I'm going to come in and I'm going to fill it with bubbles. There we are, just sort of random sizes. Some can be bigger than others. It really doesn't matter. I'm not looking for symmetry. We're just filling, and then of course any little gaps we're going to fill in as we go. Okay. Working my way around there. Okay, that's our first one. Maybe just a few little bubbles sort of coming out there. You see? So next one, I'm going to choose another to do bubbles in as well. I'm not going to do every single one different, although you could do. It could take us a little while to do that, so I think maybe I'm going to choose a couple of tangles. See, bubbles in that one as well. And just as before, some little dots round. There you go. So, about this one here, let's go in a little bit bigger. Okay. So, let's put a grid in. Oh, Bernadette, if you're an overthinker, use the dice and fill each square in with a different tangle and see where that takes you. And then by doing it that way, you're trying different things out and you're not overthinking it then. I think overthinking, if you're not careful, can stop you doing things because you're worried too much about starting it. Just have a go. There you go. See, just sort of putting these little lines in. We know this tangle pretty well, so that's okay. And again, I think what I'm going to do is just going to put the little corners in. Look like little photo corners, don't they? Right, if we want to turn it into photo corners, let's just make it a little bit bigger. You see, just sort of go a little bit further off. A little line in. And then along. You see, so you've got that shape. Let's fill it in. There's your photo corner. Okay. Just sort of just about making it a little bit bigger there. There we go. Let's have a look at that. There you go, little photo corners. Perhaps yours will be a bit straighter than mine because I'm actually not looking at it straight on. So there we go. Oh yeah. So let's have a look. Maybe here I'm going to put in, you know, when we do the lines, dots and dashes. There we are. Just sort of do that top row. I could do another tiny little grid here and this little one. Now you're not going to get much space to do those little squares, so I'm just going to put like little dots in. There we are. Okay, what we're going to do this one, I think loops. So actually let's go this way. Let's put loops in. 1, 2, 3. And our little lines. You can choose to do anything in these. You could even, if you wanted to, just colour them. You know, you get your pencils out and do a bit of gems in there. And let's have a look at this one. What about lines? First one way, then the other. Okay. And what about going in that way and in that way? Just giving it a little bit of a wave. And then here we can come in and do angles. And then this one, I'm going to just go in with a bit of a wobble. Okay, let's have a look at that. There we go. So just coming around the outside now. I'm going to start, doesn't matter where. Let's start here with a curl. Nothing crazy, just a curl. Okay. I do like to put a little bobble on the end so it's finished. And coming off the back of that, do another. You see, it's going to go on. It's going to go underneath there, so I'm just going to see that a little bit. And then another. This time it's going to get a bit smaller. And a bit smaller. A bit smaller. Let's do another one. So it's going to sort of come in and round the back here. Let's do another one. And another one. You see they're getting smaller each time. Okay. And then, let's have a look. So I could do one coming off here as well. A little loop on it. Let's go that way. Getting smaller. And one maybe coming down here. Again, they're getting smaller, smaller. As we go. Let's do one here. So they don't have to sort of go down bank, because you see some of them are working their way up as well. It sort of depends the kind of design you're sort of going for. Well, most of them are sort of dangling, but of course if you are using a regular shaped tile, then you might find some of these all the way around the heart would look really quite nice. And okay. Well then, don't we have a teardrop shaped heart in the hummingbird? I'd have to go back and look at that. It's sort of a teardrop shape. We are looking at some different shapes. I'll put one there. So you can have as few or as many of these as you want. Let's put one in there. Look. You don't have to have them all completely dangling. You could just have the odd one coming sort of in there. And see, maybe let's put one there. And have it working its way down here. You see? There we go. Okay. And the mandala. It's sort of more oval, isn't it? I think the mandala. There's so many now. But there we go. All right, I'm going to bring a bit of pencil in now. So here we are. I'm going to start up at the top with that heart shape. So first things first, let's put a little bit of a highlight in there. And there. They don't have to be in the same place. Yeah, I'm just going to remove that line in the middle. I'm going to add pencil back in, but I want to put it where... Okay. Sorry about that. It just seemed to disappear for some reason. Don't know why. Okay, now see what I'm doing now? I'm actually going inside these loops. Just inside that aura shape, and I'm just filling in a section of it. I know I lost myself for a minute then. Don't know what happened. Understand that. I know I can lose connection when I've got 5G, but I don't know. You've not missed anything. I waited. Okay. So you see, as I'm coming around, I'm just doing sort of more at the top. See, it started sort of at the edges there, and then I come round. It's going to start to move towards the other side. So a bit in the middle then, it's coming around and around. Okay, let's get a torch on in and let's sort this out whilst we're at it. So very gently just going to soften that round. Let's do that one as well. Now I've pressed on quite a bit with my pencil today. I do have ink in the background, so it can take it. But you could always build this up in layers if you don't want to do it so heavy to start with. You see I'm leaving a little bit. It's important that we don't fill the whole thing in, just sections. You see, working my way around, softening the edges, just making sure that I've got a good contrast between the dark and the light there. Just fill that bit in. Same with this one. Okay, so I'm making sure that my edges are filled, but leaving that little bit of a gap. So I've got a highlight area. So these ones, oh, let's do a bit more. Really small, so I'm just going to almost touch them a little bit. There we go. Oh, bless me. So on to the next little bit. Here we go, round to these ones, and fill these in. I think I'm definitely going to need a white chalk pencil. I've never got one when I need it. I'll have a look in a minute in my little box. You see? Okay. So look at that. Wow. Okay. So back into pencil. First thing I want to do is, again, quite heavy. I'm going to work my way round the inside of these lines, just to almost to nothing there. But you know, don't be shy about putting some on there. All the way around. Okay. And then same on this side. Again, don't be too shy about it. I'm not going to do much up that top because it gets really narrow, but definitely there. So again, using my tortillon very gently, I'm going to soften the edge first on one side, then on the other. Now there's not much space there to work with, so I'm not going to worry too much about using swirls and things. I just want to soften it off. So back and forth with your tortillon just to soften it is going to probably do the trick. Okay. All right. There's that little bit done. Looking good so far. Okay. So it's coming now to my little squares here. I think if I've got circles or bubbles I can work on, I'm going to fill those in. I think it's part of what we have to do, isn't it? We do as a natural thing. And then for my little squares here, I'm going to put some pencil this side and this side, because that one's sitting over the top of that one, isn't it? And then this one here and here. See, I can put a little bit under that vertical as well. A little bit there. And this one. So you see that there's a bit of a pattern. I'm working on two sides each time. And if there's something underneath it, I'm still going straight across it. Okay. So I'm getting that little bit of a shadow effect. Alright, my little hearts, I'm going to put little highlights in there, just like I would with my bubbles. I'm not going to worry about that one. And then back in with my tortillon. You see, softening off those bubbles there. Very gently giving it a little bit of a softness to those highlights. And those bubbles. And then back and forth with those lines. You see, because I've gone in quite heavy with them, you're going to get a really decent shadow. But I'm not trying to move it too far. I just want it to be where I put it, but a little bit softer. Okay, that way. And along. See, not worrying about what's underneath it at all. Sort of, we know it's there. Have a look. Okay, that's not looking too bad at all. What I am going to do, I'm going to bring in a black pencil. Doesn't matter which one, whatever. You could use your pastels, just that my pastels are at the office and I'm not. So I'm going to come in with a pencil and I'm going to add in a darker bit of black to the edges of this here. Just want a nice, clean, crisp edge. Sort of all the way around there. Of course, if you're going to use pastel, then you'll have to sort of blend it out a little bit. Because I'm using a pencil, I've got to be careful. I'm going to heavy and then I'm just easing it in. Okay, heavy look, easing it in. I don't want to try and shade it too much. I don't want it to overtake the pencil there, but just needed a little bit of something. you just need to blend that a little bit more in there. And then on the inside here, just going to come in, add a bit more. Again, if you haven't got pencil or pastels, you could use your pen and even your 05 just to give this a little bit more of an edge there. You see, it just sort of makes it a little bit heavier there. Okay, I'm not going to do those, but I will do underneath there. Alright, maybe a little bit on the sides. See, it just sort of nice, crisp line. But again, you could use your pen for this. And just a little bit there. So I'm not going across the whole thing, just sort of putting a little bit in. There we go. Let's have a look at that. Alright, almost done. Look at that. Alright, a little bit of pencil. I'm not going to go in the bubbles. I'm going to go on the outside the bubbles. Just down this bottom edge. You see, just sort of round this area here. Okay, just a little bit there. And again, just softening it out with the torchy on there. That's going to sort of work its way to nothing. Completely blending it out. Okay, there we go. Now, last thing, if I do have a white chalk pencil, 1 second. Sure, must have, you know, you get to the point you've got all these pieces of equipment and never find anything. Have something there. I do have a white pen. That'll be, I do have a white pencil. I told you I'd got one. White pencil. What's my? This is the chalk pencil. Okay. And it's sort of where we've got these highlights. Can add in a little bit of white there. Look at the difference that makes. You won't get the same effect with a normal pencil, so it's got to be the chalky one. Okay, let's come around the middle there. There we are. So I've not gone right round because there's not much point there. This is the bit that's the important section there. A little bit on those. And then of course those bubbles, just because that's sort of the top one. Maybe a little bit on the edge there. And here, because I've got a bit of colour in, get away with a little bit of a highlighted some of the corners there. Okay, liking that. All right, let's have a look at that. See, look at that lovely little heart in there. So, all right, last thing to do really is a signature. Now, of course, that would be quite nice if you're actually doing this for somebody for Valentine's, then you could just put your initials in and don't sign the back. It's entirely up to you. But imagine this with a little bit of ribbon in there, and you know, a little bit of backing paper on some card maybe. You can make it into a card. There's so many things you can do with it. You could even bring in your gel pens, and some of these little bubbles you could actually do with a little bit of different colour. But entirely up to you. This is a purely, see, I'm going to faff now, monochrome version, but lots of things you can do with it. So enjoy, and I look forward to seeing the kind of things you're going to do with it. I'm just thickening a few areas there. Ah, so I think you'll notice, yeah, to be honest. But maybe I won't use this one. Maybe I'll do something slightly more elaborate. Who knows? But have fun with it, and I will see you again on Tuesday. So have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe, and I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.